Riles here, right back at you, and I'm all riled up because I want to read something that I wrote in 2020. It says right here it was completed in 2020. So I'm gonna show you Water Wizard Wander, and it's from one of my extended universes called Uridel, and I love that universe that I wrote about. I have a medieval series of books that I wrote, and there's a modern, zombie apocalypse version, and then there's a future one where they powered the spaceships with magic, and then there's this one, which is, I think I said 1850 something. Let's start reading it real quick. I'm gonna get into it. Chapter 1. The year was 1859 in Uridel. That was the day Connie Terrence missed his alarm, not for the first time. It would also be the day he was fired from his job. He opened his eyes to see that the time on his alarm clock read well past his normal wake-up time. The big hand was pointing at the 3, and the little hand was pointed at the 7. It was 7:15, 45 minutes past his alarm. Oh, by the gods, I'm already late. 15 minutes to be precise. He jumped up, looking for his pants. All he wore to bed were his undershorts. What job was he late for, you may ask? Not a job that tested his abilities as a well-rounded mage, that was for sure. He was a fire mage, however, and in the new Constable Township, that was a bad thing. He had dropped out of school, laughed at by all his peers for being too versed in the School of Power's fire. He jumped on one leg to pull on his pants, then he put on his brocade over his shoulders, buttoning it up. He didn't need anything else, not where he was going. "Connie!" screamed his boss, Madison Breach. "This is the last straw. You're late, you're a dropout, and you're fired." "What?" he protested. "Please, no!" He hadn't slept well the previous night, and he tried to explain, but Madison was not having it. "If you're so hard of sleeping, then I recommend you had seen a doctor long ago." She huffed and pointed a finger at the door. "Out, now." The doctor, right. He sighed as he shoved his hands into his pockets and kicked at a rock. The rock landed near a bench where a boy was waiting for a taxi carriage. He stood up as the carriage came. Just before it pulled up, he stooped to pick up the rock. "I think you dropped this." He handed Connie the pinkish blue rock, and he stared dumbfounded down at it. "Did he really just give me a rock from the ground?" He smiled politely at Connie. "You really shouldn't lose that. It's so pretty." "It's just a rock." "It's a firestone," said the boy, and the carriage came to a stop. "Do you need this?" "Oh, you go ahead. I'm just going to the doctor's." Connie shrugged. "Just going to the doctor's, he says. Just." The boy laughed. "Luckily for you, I'm going as well, to pick up a prescription. Perchance you'll come with me?" He hopped onto the carriage and extended a hand to Connie. Connie pocketed the firestone and thumbed it as he hopped aboard with him. "Isn't fire bad?" Connie asked the boy, and he smiled at him. "Historically, it was not. The School of Practical Arts frowns upon it because fire is not practical." "Right, because it's so destructive. So why would you tell me to keep a firestone when all they're good for is sitting and looking pretty?" Connie felt like a firestone. A useless, pretty firestone. "That's not all they're good for. My name's Safi, by the way, if you'd like to call me that." He held out his hand, and the carriage came to a stop outside the doctor's office. Connie stared at his hand like it was a festering wound, gross and harrowing. "Why would I call you by that now?" "Because Sapphire's the name, Safi's my game." He winked and grabbed Connie's hand, shaking vigorously. He had not permitted him to touch his hand, and he pulled away at once. "I suppose I should tell you my name is Connie." He scoffed and followed him out of the carriage. Sapphire gave the cabbie the fare for both of them, and Connie felt guilty at once for not paying his own way. Typical Connie, never feeling quite good enough. "Oh, I could have paid." "I heard that mean old man," he said, "kicking you out and insulting you in that way. You are the Connie of Derbyshire Hills, yes?" "How do you know that?" questioned Connie. "I'm a fire wizard at the School of Practical Arts. People like to compare me to you all the time. However, I don't intend to drop out." He gushed and opened the door for Connie. "Hey, I resent that." Connie walked in. "No ill intent." Sapphire waved his hands defensively. It's hard to stay afloat in the sea of people all practicing more practical magic, such as bland old water or plain old earth. The school seems to want to change the face of casting and not for the better. They are rather ahead of the times. You mean behind. And what's wrong with water? Connie practiced water magic now, as he had cast out fire long ago. Maybe one day he'd go back to school for it. Gods only knew his siblings were disappointed in him. They said his truant failed to honor Mom's memory. Absolutely nothing, if you're simple, Safi laughed. What's your prescription for? You seem fine to me, commented Connie. That's a bit personal, but I see fit to tell you. I have acute depression. I have medicine the doctor finds useful to treat it. Safi shrugged. You don't seem depressed. Connie looked towards his shoes. They were falling apart, and he had been meaning to replace them. And you do. Safi grinned and walked up to the front counter. If you like, I could buy you a new pair. Connie blinked a few times, the offer flooring him. You would do that for an absolute stranger? I would do that for an absolute cutie. Safi winked at Connie as he placed his hands on the counter and rang the bell several times. Connie's face flushed hard. Ah, if it isn't Sapphire Shores, how are you doing today? A man in a white brocade donning black pants and a black bow tie approached the counter. I am doing excellent. I made a new friend, Safi indicated to Connie. I am not your friend, Connie exclaimed, offended. Unfortunately, he's experiencing a bout of depression, concluded Safi to the doctor. I could see if I have more of that around, said the doctor, handing Safi a brown paper sack. The doctor looked at Connie and adjusted his circular glasses. And how often do you experience these symptoms? He asked. What? Please enter the door to the right of the counter, your left. May I join you? Asked Safi. Only if it's okay with the patient, the doctor said as Connie opened the door. Dang, so many freaking pronoun mistakes, because I don't know why I was writing in the first person so many times when I normally write my Uridel books in the third person. Anyways, let's get back to it. Fine, whatever. Connie snapped impatiently and held the door for Safi. This is the good stuff, but you need a medical writ, a permit for it. Safi pouted his paper sack. I see. Connie stuck his hand in his pocket, rubbing at the stone to try and relieve some of the tension he was feeling. It was taut in his back, and he felt weird around Sapphire, like tingly in the chest weird. Tell me, what's your name? Asked the doctor. What's yours? Connie grinned slyly, but when the doctor glared at him over his glasses, Connie added hastily, Connie, it's Connie, sir. My name is Dr. Fenrow. I am a certified healer. And when you had to say it out loud, it made you seem less certified. That made Connie anxious. Don't worry, he's practically certified. Sapphire was not reassuring. I didn't graduate top of my class, though. That honor was given to Malchus. So that Malchus, Fenrow waved a fist. Now please explain the symptoms you are having. Okay, well, I have a really hard time sleeping. I may need medicine for it. I missed work today and got fired. I felt very bad, kicked a stone, and wound up in this situation, such as it is. Connie felt as though a weight were lifted off his chest, and he felt a little better about himself the more he spoke. And I get irritable all the time, to the point that no one likes me. I'm honestly shocked that Safi here seems to have taken to me. Like ice on a cake. Or is it icing? Safi put his index finger on his chin and gazed up at the ceiling. It's just, if there are gods upstairs, they are bringing me rain. It sounds like acute depression and chronic anxiety, said Fenrow, stroking his chin and writing something on a piece of paper. I have a proposition. Connie sat forward on the edge of his seat. What is it? Go to the council hall in Carrington and fill out a requisition form. It'll be your first steps towards obtaining a medical writ. However, if I give some extra to Sapphire, he plopped something in the sack and said, whoops, who's to say I didn't just mismeasure to this one time? Practically certified. It sounds complicated, Connie groaned. Yep, definitely acute depression. He checked a box and Connie rolled his eyes. Acute depression indeed. His judgmental eyes peered at him over his glasses as the two of them left the office. Would you like to come to the stables with me? Asked Sapphire as the two of them waited for the next taxi. What's at the stables? For one thing, it's just outside New Constable and very close to Carrington, where I can take you once I buy a horse. Connie spluttered, "You're going to buy a horse?" "Yeah, I'm sick of relying on public transportation. New Constable is very hard to get around, especially when the School of Practical Arts is over in the Dameship. Oh, how the Duchess is proud of her school." Sapphire shivered. "What's that? Duchess Tara make you worry?" "Quite a bit, yes." Sapphire stuck his tongue out at Connie. "She hates fire magic." "Yes, she really does. I wonder what made her that way." "Some say her ex-lover, a fire mage, broke up with her by burning down her summer estate with her still inside it." Sapphire made his hands into claws and made a low, meowing sound. That's when Connie noticed the pointy ears atop his head. "A Neko!" Connie gasped. A Neko was almost like a human, except they had cat ears, and usually a cat tail, but Sapphire's must be glamoured. "Yes, I am. What of it?" He frowned the first time Connie had seen him without a smile since they'd met a couple hours ago. "I do apologize. You probably get that a lot, huh?" Connie blushed and subconsciously grabbed hold of his other arm with his one hand. "Oh, no need to feel bashful. I meant no harm." Safi rose a hand and Connie shied away. "No problem." The carriage came to take them to Sinset Stables, and the sun rolled over the horizon, nearly set. "If we don't hurry, we won't make it to the council hall in time." The council hall was all the way in Carrington. If the two boys wanted to make it in time, they would need to buy a horse right away. Luckily, Safi had one already picked out. "I've been riding Buck since I met him here last year. I've been saving up my gold pieces for a while now, too." "That he has," came the deep, booming voice of the stable master. There was a stable hand about, and he smiled at Sapphire, opening the gate to the pasture. "Mr. Marlowe, how very nice to see you today," said Safi to the stable master. "And that to you too, Sapphire Shores," Mr. Marlowe beamed. "Here for good old Buck." He led them to the horse, and Connie's jaw dropped. The horse had mist gray fur and a deep blue mane. There were also some white speckles on each flank. He was the most majestic animal Connie had ever seen. "That I am, mister," said Safi, and fetched a sack of gold from his belt. "I have 1,000 pieces right here. You've been saving for what, 6 months now?" "7 to be precise. Today's finally the day." "All that work finally paid off, huh?" "That it did." Safi winked and handed the stable master his bag of coins. "He's all yours." Mr. Marlowe smiled and patted the pocket he put the coins in. Sapphire went to the horse then and put a hand to his side, petting him gingerly. Connie heard him sigh and saw him close his eyes. Safi was really happy in that moment, it was obvious. "Who's your new friend?" asked Mr. Marlowe. Safi opened his blue eyes to nearly match the horse's and ran a hand through his golden blonde hair. His ear twitched and Connie blinked his hazel eyes at him. Safi jumped forward and smiled, mussing up Connie's dirty blonde hair. "This here is my new friend Connie. Connie, oh, what's your last name, Connie?" "Terrence," he said softly. "Connie Terrence. Nice to meet you." Mr. Marlowe had just finished putting the saddle on Safi's new horse. "Connie's Terrence." He held out a hand to Connie, and he took it. "Nice to meet you too, sir. Now, off you boys go. Saddle's all prepped." "Very good, thank you, sir," said Safi. "Come on, Connie Terrence, let's get on with things." He was smiling at Connie, and he couldn't help but smile back. Connie was really beginning to like Sapphire. Connie climbed up on the saddle, sitting behind Safi and gripping his front so he wouldn't fall off. Mr. Marlowe led them out, and they were on their way to Carrington. Now, if you'd like to see more of this story, I hope y'all click like. And if you have any comments on what happened in this story, like what's your favorite part, who's your favorite character, I really like Buck. Nah, I'm just kidding. I think Safi's the best. But I will just say that I'm hoping that I can read more of this. I'm probably going to read more of it anyways. But I had fun, and I hope you did too. So subscribe if you want to see more of what you got. And I got plenty more where that came from, because this is I think there's 10 parts. I don't remember how many chapters I made. This was a long time ago. Anyways, I'll see you next time. Bye!